All right. Welcome. This is our new official setup.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, to be fair, we just switched locations. So from the past 4 episodes that you've seen, it was all upstairs in the family room. Now we're in my room, technically. This is the basement. Yes, I still live with my parents. I'm in the mom's basement. So make fun of me all you want.
This is a better room than mine.
This is like my sanctuary. So yeah, I literally moved everything upstairs, downstairs. The reason why is because me and my family just recently adopted puppies. So hence why we're going to be having future episodes down here in my room from now on. So, and yeah, that's why you can see everything in the background. And plus, I will be doing separate videos on doing room tours. Maybe a before and after, how my room used to look before and then now. And then hopefully do more stuff. Since this is our 5th episode, we're hoping to expand more and do other things other than
Yes.
just just talking with each other
Do
too.
some gaming, some Ivan Chance tours, and
All the fun stuff. Yeah, and plus, and I'm gonna mention this in my tour, but on the other side, where I'm sitting at right now, I have a television over there with all of my consoles over there. So PlayStations, Nintendo Switch, my Wii U. I have a PlayStation VR over there as well. And then on the other side here, I have my custom game controllers. So it's sort of fitting for our theme for today. But before we start talking about it, so welcome to our 5th episode of I See the
hi.
Weebs. So I am your host Ivan and my co-host Caspin here.
Hello there.
And today we're going to be discussing about our, well, not like our favorite video games, but like video games that impacted us. Like
Or just video games that
we like enjoy in general. Or
I enjoyed while growing up, just
yeah, something like that. Yeah, so just like a video game topic in general. So that's what we're trying to go for. So
yes.
all right,
You
so
might be able to relate or not. Who knows?
so one thing that I asked you earlier, but now that we're in front of the camera, is what type of video gamer are you? What console did you grow up with? Or did you like grow up with like multiple consoles?
I feel like, the majority of people that do play video games and all that, they played a lot, multiple consoles. Like, it's not like one person would stick to one.
That's true.
So, like, they would, while growing up, they would change from one to another for, like, from a PlayStation to one of the handheld.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, I'd say at most, I played with any console that include holding it, like a DS, Game Boy,
Or like handhelds in general.
especially to the more recent Nintendo Switch. So,
Yeah, true. Yeah, so you were mostly like into handhelds mostly?
yeah, now these days.
That's fair. Yeah, because for me, I consider myself as a PlayStation kid because me and my brother grew up with the original PlayStation 1. And then when we progressed, we got the PS2, we got the PS3. Then somehow we switched over to Xbox 360. We played that more than the PS3. And then we transitioned back to PlayStation with the PS4. But along the way, we also played Wii, Wii U, and Nintendo Switch now. But it sort of varies. Right now, I currently do not own a PS5. Technically, my brother has one because I gifted it to him. So,
See.
yeah, one of these days, I'm hoping to get a PS5 because of a game that's going to be releasing in January. But it depends on whether if I have enough money for that or not. But it's okay. I'm satisfied with it.
I'll find a way. There's always a way. But yeah, pretty much. I've also played some of the consoles. I don't know why I keep thinking of console, but
Console.
consoles that you play. Like, I played PlayStation, PS1, PS2, PS3. I don't remember if I played PlayStation,
Have you
PS4, and then I know I played the Wii and Wii U. So
have you tried any of like the handheld portables for PlayStation, like the PSP and the PS Vita? Though
no,
I also play with those consoles too.
not that I know of. No.
Gotcha. Yeah, oh, I should have displayed it on my plushies over there. I don't know if we could see it on camera, but each of those four plushies over there are holding a specific game controller of my pass. So,
I don't know. Maybe if I move a little bit.
yeah. Otherwise, if not, yeah. So, like, Aichan, the gamer one, has my PS4. Kizuna Ai has the Wii U Game Pro controller. Kagamine Rin has the PS3. And then Miku has the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons.
Oh, I didn't recognize some of those. Some of those.
Yeah.
I recognize some of those.
Honestly, those are really fun to play with. But to be fair, some of these, well, like, some of these were my brothers, but since we don't really play with each other as much, now I just like keep them as like a collection type of thing, which is why like everything's here mine, while my brother has his PlayStation, so or his PS5, I should say.
All right. You want to get into the games?
Sure.
Honestly,
Would you like
I'll
this? Oh, you want me to start?
Yes, please.
Yeah, sure. So the way I'm gonna do this is that I'm gonna be talking about two games that I think really impacted my childhood and teen years, and even up until now, and then further transition later on into games that like got me into a lighter side, I guess you could say, from a time when I felt sad, and I'll go into further detail on that. So two games that I'm going to be bringing up. I don't know if you see them on the table right now, but one of them is the Tekken series. So the one that I'm holding in my hand is Tekken 5. Absolutely one of my favorite games to play. If you don't know what this is a fighting game, a 3D fighting game. So basically the reason why I'm into this is because of, well, the fighting genre in general is like, I wouldn't say it's like bad, but for some reason, I'm not a fan of it in general. But I think with the Tekken series, it really got me like into the fighting games, genre in general. So that's why I really hone into this as a series.
See.
And then like you know that there's multiple like Tekken games at the moment right now, right?
I don't know which Tekken game I played
Gotcha. Yeah,
back
cause
then.
yeah. If you want to know my favorite personally, other than this one, because this one I grew up with on the
Which
PlayStation
Tekken
2.
is that one?
This is Tekken 5. This is the
Tekken
one for the
5.
PlayStation 2. I absolutely love this one.
Can you
Yeah.
read what it says in the background of the Tekken 5
It
title?
says a decade of
No, I'm
dominance.
talking about
Oh, here?
the Japanese.
Oh, Tekken 5. It literally says Tekken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
never
that's what
mind.
it means. Tekken's or Iron Fist. Kingdom Iron Fist Tournament 5. Yeah,
Alright.
so this is one game that I love to play, but Tekken 5 technically isn't my favorite. If I have to be with my recency bias, I really enjoy the recent Tekken 7. Technically that was the most latest release, but it came out in 2017. So,
Is that the one where Negan is one
yes.
of the DLC characters?
Yep, it's that one. It's not just because of those DLC characters. I just really love the story that they told throughout their story campaign. If you understand the lore of Tekken, then you'll understand the reason why I enjoyed that game as well. But it's not just that, but I think the arcade version of the game is actually really fun as well. It's not like one of those where you like sit through it, you play like 8 matches and you get like an ending sequence. I think you do get that, but it's not as good compared to like the other game modes that they have. Because my favorite thing to do is just pick one character and just rank them up in just like arcade mode, and have them to be like the strongest character in the game. I believe the highest rank you could get, I think it's called Omega God, Omega Tekken God, or something like that. And I haven't even caught up to it. I'm so bad at the game, but I absolutely love playing it. That's the thing.
I see.
There's that. So there's this one. So the mainline Tekkens 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then the spin-offs, the Tekken Tag Tournaments, which I also enjoy to bits.
Interesting.
Yeah, but yeah, for sure, this is one of my favorite games to play. Otherwise, if it's not Tekken, I think you already saw it on here. It is the Twisted Metal series. So, do you know anything about the Twisted Metal series?
All I know is I recognize the character that's on the cover, and it's a racing game.
To be fair, it's
If
technically...
it's not a racing game,
Yeah, I'll
I
go into
don't know
further
that.
detail. Okay, so you're on to something, yeah. So the clown that you see here is called Sweet Tooth, or if you want to be more particular, Needles Kane for those who really understand the Tekken lore or
Yeah,
Tekken Twisted Metal lore.
that murderer.
Yeah, yeah. So he drives the ice cream truck that murders people like inside these type of vehicles that they end up driving and shooting each other to claim whatever wish they desire if they win the tournament. But
Has
yeah,
he ever? Was there like an actual like series or to
yes.
watch?
If you're talking about like a television series, like the
Yeah.
most recent Twisted Metal series that came out, yes. In my opinion, it's good. It wasn't like to the expectation that I was hoping it'd be, but they portrayed the clown character Sweet Tooth very well, in my opinion.
I see.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite characters. I really enjoyed him.
The only reason why I knew is because on a channel. It's called Death Battle. He
Yes,
was paired up versus the Joker,
yes, I
and I'm not
remember.
gonna spoil who won, but they did talk about a lot about Sweet Tooth. Yeah, like Needles Kane was, well, especially mentioning one where it's like he scooped someone's eyeball with a ice cream scooper.
Yeah, yeah.
So, so
Um,
wait, so tell us more about like what do you do in the game if it's not a racing game?
Yeah, it is actually not a racing game. Although in this version of the game, they somewhat made it a racing game. In my opinion, it made the game worse, but there are some people that disagree with that standpoint.
Everyone has their opinions.
Exactly. But this is known as a vehicular combat game. So what this means is that people are inside cars or vehicles
It's like
and
a fighting game in vehicles. So it's like,
exactly. Think of it as like playing Call of Duty or like Halo or like any of those first person shooters. The only difference is that you're inside a vehicle and you're driving around shooting others in your vehicle.
oh yeah,
It's sort of
yeah.
like a death battle, basically.
It's like what to say. It's like Doom with multiple players, and
Yeah.
you're in a vehicle.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Basically, that's like the point. That's like Toasted Metal in general. Yeah. So before this game, each character has their own specific vehicles that they're tied to, and depending on who you play during the story mode campaign, you get an ending for that character, and then usually the thing goes is that the competitors are competing in a contest that is hosted by this guy named Calypso who could grant wishes out of a whim. So whoever wins his competition would end up getting a wish for whatever their heart's desire.
is it like an actual like you can wish for whatever you want?
Yes, there's no
Really? It's
limitation.
like it's magical somehow.
Yes. So I'll give one example. I don't want to do Sweet Toots because I think he has one of the best, and I think you actually have to watch it on YouTube for like you'll understand the reason why when you watch it. But one of them that I can recall, this is from the PSP game Twisted Metal Head On. So there's a character who drives a sports car who's 19 years old, and when he won the competition, basically he didn't know what to wish for at first, but then he realized that because of the way how he could get famous, he wished for money. And so when Calypso granted his wish, not only did it start raining money, but it ended up piling up so much he ended up suffocating in the money.
I see.
So the goal of this is like he grants your wish, but he ends up
There's like a twist
yeah,
to
there's a
it.
twist to it. Yeah, another one in that same
Is it
game.
like
Oh yeah, sorry, go
all?
ahead.
Is it like any character from that they wish for something? There's always going to be like a twist that might end up killing that person.
Yes, actually, you brought that up too because I was going to mention another funny wish that sort of like ties into what you mentioned. So in the second game, one of my favorite games to play, Twisted Metal 2, and the original PlayStation, by the way. So there's a character named Hammerhead that's driven by these two folks, and then what their wish is the ability to fly. And then if you see where I'm going, yeah, they met Calypso on top of the building, and then they demanded Calypso to give them the ability to fly since they won the competition, right? And after Calypso has told them that he granted his wish and allowed them to fly the friendly skies, they jumped off the building. Yeah,
Don't.
and then You could hear one of them say, "Hey man, this doesn't look right." They end up screaming and they end up crashing onto the pavement below. The funny thing about it is that when Calypso looked down on it, he was holding two plane tickets, and he was like, "Good thing these plane tickets are refundable." He gave them the ability to fly, technically.
Okay, just want to say if you ever wish to fly, do not start off with being on top of a building or anything. Start from the ground and see if you can actually fly, levitate in the air rather than that.
Yeah,
Because there could be
exactly.
an entirely different meaning from that. It's like you just say, "Oh yeah, I want to fly. I wish I could fly." It could. It's not as simple as that. Like someone
Yeah.
can take that as a different. So it's not like it doesn't sound like magic at all. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
we'll make it a way without that kind of stuff.
To be
Here's a
fair,
plane
yeah.
ticket. You can fly once.
To be fair, I think like 70% of the endings are like that. But there are some endings that actually end up in the contestant's favor, or it turns back on Calypso. In my opinion, those are some of, if not the best. Hence, this one
Interesting.
too. He has one of my favorite endings of all times. Not from this one, but from the PS2 game Twisted Metal Black. In everyone's case, the darkest Twisted Metal game. But holy moly, let's just say something does not end up well for Calypso.
Interesting. Right.
But yeah, so this is one of my favorite things. If you're all curious about who my favorite character is in this game, or like the genre in general, so I like playing with two vehicles, and then I don't know if you could see from the camera right now, but do you see the middle shelf right down there? Each of those die-cast cars represent a Hot Wheels vehicle of a Twisted Metal character that I like to play with. One of them that I like to play with is the construction vehicle right there in the middle.
Nope.
So, for those of you who don't know who I'm referring to, this is known
What was
as
that?
Mr. Slam.
What's that called? Bulldozer? The vehicle?
Bulldozer, I call it a front
No.
wheel loader.
Yeah, it might be that.
Yeah, cause he's one of the strongest vehicles in the game, and what I love about it is his special. So he has the special where he takes his plow or whatever, he snatches the vehicle and literally slams them a couple times before throwing them.
I see. I see.
Yeah, it's either him or another character that I like to play with. His name is Axel. So it's not depicted here properly, but it's the vehicle next to Mr. Slam on the left. But basically, in the
Is the
actual
blue one?
the orange one next to Mr. Slam. Yeah, again, I don't know if you can see it on that camera here, but
And I don't know if I can see it either.
yeah. So basically, in the actual game though, it's actually just two tires. But the thing is, the man is strapped in between them, so he's actually like caught in between the tires. So like imagine like these are monster truck wheels, and there's just a single man strapped in between them, just like this. So pretend like you're riding a Segway, only except you're being strapped inside of it with two gigantic wheels on each side. That's basically the vehicle.
So weird.
It
Okay.
is, but in my opinion, it's so cool back in the day, especially on the original Twisted Metal 2, because they literally made that character like a god in that game. Like he was super strong, you
Interesting.
cannot beat him. He has the best armor. He has his special's pretty weak, but it was pretty good.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But in my opinion too, he has one of, if not the best ending in Twisted Metal. That's just my honest opinion though. And I'll show you later if you want to.
All right.
But yeah, so these are just two of my favorites that I really love, like growing up with. But there are others too that I'll also mention later on. But in the meantime, is there a game that you would like to talk about?
All right. So, unlike Ivan Chen here, I did not bring anything to show it. However,
Show and tell.
pretty much, one game that I do want to talk about, and it's a game that I played for quite some time, even sometimes up to this point of today. I would I love playing a game called Kingdom Rush.
Kingdom Rush.
It is a tower defense game. I would say is the best one, although there's other opinions. But for me, I consider it as my favorite and the best tower defense game that it's like a strategic quiet. So it's like you of course you got there's a story. It's like trying to reach the villain,
Mm-hmm.
and each level there's certain like each level you would build some towers in order to make sure the monsters or any enemies would come passing by. Otherwise, you would start off with 20 lives
Oh,
and all
okay.
20 hearts and certain specific monsters either if they make it through, you would lose a heart. Some will be like one or two. The highest I'd say is five. Unless if it's the boss, then you're just dead.
Yeah.
But each level is is different in its own way. Whether
Mm.
if it's introducing a new tower that you can use to build, or a new enemy that could either be threatening in some ways. Either one's like for the ones that are in the air, you gotta use specific towers for it, or certain enemies would have like magic resistance or like very tough defense, so you'd have to use other types of towers that use magic or like does a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't know, Kingdom Rush, it was a game made by I believe it's Iron Ironhead or for the company Ironhide,
Mm-hmm.
and you could the first time I played this, it was on a website called Congregation.
Oh, okay.
If you, I don't know if
I
you know.
don't know, but is it like one of those flash game websites?
I think so,
Because if
but
so, then it might be familiar
for
then.
those that know, good, and those that don't know, it's fine because
Yeah, we don't judge.
it's not just on the website It's also like you can download in Google Play and all that. So I first started off on the website Congregations. They have about four games, or um, they have Kingdom Rush Frontier, which takes like a different place, but I think like a few years later.
Mm-hmm.
The third game is called Kingdom Rush Origins, which that takes back then, where the main enemy from the first game is actually a hero that you can play in the third game, which I found very interesting.
Yep.
And even the king that you're helping to save the realm or the kingdom. And then the third one, that's where you can play as the enemy from the first game. You can play as, which that was a very interesting like twist kind of thing. So
At least you have more variety, I guess you could say.
is it does. It's pretty much the same, you know. Yeah, different enemies, different play styles, or you got. It's a game where it's like you have to strategize how you want your towers to be set up, how some of these enemies would appear. Because honestly, it could get tricky in some levels, but overall, it's it's very fun if you try it. You might you might like it. Like you would have to think strategic wise as to how you want them set up, and whether few of the times while playing them, I did have to look up a playthrough tutorial because I couldn't beat the game or it's like I couldn't get 3 stars,
Mm.
because like if you complete the level without like losing any of your hearts or a certain amount, you would get 3 stars. When you reach 17 hearts, that's where you're stuck with 2 stars and then so forth.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, I see.
so it's like, as I was saying, like I first started off on the website,
Mm-hmm.
but then of course you can download it on mobile, which either your phone or iPad. Now I play on my phone, which the only games I have is the Origins one, number 3, or the the fourth one, which I think it's called Nezhan Nezvan. One of the I forgot what the bad guy's name was. Veznan's Revenge or something.
Mm.
So it other tower defense games. balloons. Should know balloons. And then what other? There's a lot of other tower defense games that I just can't name. But overall, I would say Kingdom Rush
Definitely your favorite.
is definitely my favorite. Yes,
Don't blame me on that.
especially when some of those games, the heroes, I love to collect them. So some of the money has disappeared. Some of the money was put into the game just to buy the heroes so I can play them. Because heroes, I would say heroes do play a big role in trying to help survive the levels or waves and all that
Yep.
while you're playing. Some of them are good, whether if they look good or if they actually help. There are a few that I would say aren't so great, but in some ways they're okay. They're okay. So, anything else? Out of the 4 Kingdom Rush games, I'd say my favorite one would probably be it's either I know it's either the
That's hard, ain't it?
it is it is. I'd
Like,
say it's either the third one or the second one because that's where I feel like there's more variety into those two
okay.
games. But I mean the more recent one, the number 4 one, is very interesting. It's not bad. It's not bad. If I had to say the least out of the 4, I'd probably say 1. But of course, some people like the original ones, the way it started. So I don't blame you. But
Gotcha.
they're overall they're all good. They're all
Yeah,
good
I mean they
games.
play the same, right? It's the only difference is just like the variety of what you could do
It's,
for each of the
yeah,
games, right?
pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's sort of like the same of like almost every single game. Like for Twisted Metal, like I mentioned earlier, each style is pretty much the same, but each of the settings are different. Like for example, if you play Twisted Metal 2, it'll be different if you play it from Twisted Metal Black because of the atmosphere and the settings and the characters that you use.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but that all the more makes it cooler because it doesn't just like make it boring each time. It's just like basically you're playing this and you just upgrade it to a new DLC. That's how it feels
Yeah,
like.
pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah. But to be fair too, I forgot to mention my favorite Twisted Metal game, haven't I?
I think you did mention it. It was the darkest one.
No, as much as I want to say that, it's actually not it. The one that I forgot to mention it. So there's another one. I wouldn't say it's a spin-off, but it's part of the series. It's called Twisted Metal Small Brawl. So basically take the Twisted Metal vehicles but make them into RC cars.
Just
Yeah, exactly. No, it holds a special place in my heart though because that was the game that got me into like playing more PlayStation games.
I see. I
Yeah,
see.
which hence why I got into the Twisted Metal series, and plus my fear of clowns. Hence why I enjoy Sweet Tooth.
Wait, so you're still scared of clowns?
No, no, back in the day I was scared of
Oh,
clowns, but this game helped me to overcome that fear.
I see. Interesting. Interesting. All
But
right.
but yeah, otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much it for that. So, can you, oh no, wait.
Another game that I would like to mention, and I know there's a lot of people that has played this game,
Okay.
the majority of people. If you haven't played Minecraft,
Oh,
then
I'm sort of guilty on
you're
that.
you're missing out. You're
Yeah.
missing out, pretty much.
To be fair,
Although go
yeah, I
on.
was gonna say, to be fair, I like watching people play Minecraft.
That yeah, that's one of the reasons why people would start getting into it. But I don't blame you. If you watch Minecraft, you at least have an idea of how it
How
how
it
it
like works and stuff, yeah.
how it either works or how like what you can do in Minecraft, which you can do a lot in Minecraft. Even if you don't download the mods or like texture packs and all that, there's quite a lot you can do in Minecraft. Whether if it's just going through the adventures, facing going all the way up to facing the boss.
Yep.
If you're those speedrunners, which I can never be like those people, because it probably would take me too long for it.
True.
And then also, there's that. Or if you're like building, then there is so much you can build out of it. And then
Looking at some of those designs that
I
like my favorite YouTubers have made too. Holy moly,
yeah,
amazing
they look
stuff.
so good, and I wish I can make something as great as them. But I try. I'm sure everyone else tried. Whether if they can do it or they can't, it's no biggie.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I think one of the most reason why people would play Minecraft is to play with other people. Cause I
Exactly. Yeah. I
think
think that was like the most
that's where
important
it's
reason.
most of the fun happens.
Yeah.
Cause like as you're playing along, whether if it's of course like going through the world, building, or either playing mini games on other servers. If you're playing with a friend, then there's so much you can do. Such a fun experience.
Yeah.
That's pretty much actually it might be the reason why I one of the main reasons why I started playing Minecraft is because there was a certain time where I moved to this other location, to pretty much not in this area, but a neighboring like town or
Yeah.
city,
Close by
and
here, basically.
pretty much. And at the time, since I was pretty much the new kid, there wasn't. I was also being shy and all that. It was
Mhm.
difficult for me to like a way to like interact with these other people. So what helped me was I started to play Minecraft and I was able to interact with most of the people that I've became friends with. By the way, this is
This is
friends from church.
yeah.
So
Yeah. So
so
this is like during the time when like you started forming the friendship with those other friends that well, we're not gonna mention their names, but hopefully if you guys are watching, hi.
hey, how are you guys doing?
You can see
Anyway,
what we're up to nowadays. So
if you know who's under the mask, yeah.
exactly, you know. Please don't spoil it though. We're gonna save that down the future for future videos.
Yes, don't expose me like that, guys. Anyways, as I was saying, because of that, I started playing Minecraft. I was starting to talk to some of the new people that was too shy to talk to, and
Yep.
so we started playing more. And I'd say a lot of fun memories came from playing with my friends on certain servers, such
Hmm.
as for those that do know, there's a server called Mineplex, which I think by now it's not as great as it was before.
Oh,
Like there was some problems at certain times where it's like it was either very laggy or it's like certain games were gone and all that. But I haven't been on it for so long, so I don't know how it's doing. That server and a few other servers like Hypixel and I think Beehive, but I know that one shut down, so probably just Hive. But yeah, I made so much fun, great memories. I say would be one of the best moments in my pretty much when it comes to Minecraft and overall. So
if you could nitpick on one of your favorite memories, along with like all of our friends back in the day when when you used to play when you used to play Minecraft like almost religiously, what was the best thing to do? Or
it
what was
was
your favorite memory, I should say, with the others?
it was specifically playing on Mineplex. There are some games where it's like such games such as Super Smash
Hmm.
with mobs and rather than the Nintendo characters, it was just mobs. At the time, I was a pro at it, and I was so glad that they would even play with me.
Like
I mean,
crazy,
like
huh?
I'd say out of all of us, I'd say I was the most like addicted, like competitive to it.
Hmm.
But then of course they weren't all bad. They weren't bad players. They were good. Some of them were. Oof. Anyways, there was
We need to admit to
such
it.
as there's Smash, and then there's other games where it's like either it's like those building competitions, those survival kind of games, prop hunt. You would
Oh,
have
prop hunt, heck yeah.
it's called block hunt
Block hunt? Oh,
in
okay.
Mineplex, but there are some funny moments where whether if it's you hiding in the certain place and you're trying, or you're just running around the whole map from all the hunters that are chasing you.
That's
The
awesome.
chance, yeah, you can imagine how fun that was.
Hmm.
Especially with two of my friends. We would have this like little concept where it's like we're in the tree and we would call ourselves chicken pot pie. One of us was disguised as like the a chicken. The other
Obviously.
was just was disguised as a cake for the pie part,
Hmm.
and then a flower pot. So
Oh,
chicken.
chicken pot pie. Okay, I
Yeah, it
see.
was such a, and then the fact that we would win too.
That's
It's so
incredible.
fun on like this one. Well, it wasn't one tree, but it's like a bunch of trees where you can like possibly do mine or parkour on it, and we would just like stay up on that tree. Like if the hunters were coming in, we would just hit them or shoot them down, trying to keep them. But overall, it was so funny.
Dang.
So yeah, a lot of our good old games was on Mineplex. There are a few games from another server, but well,
Do you still play Minecraft today?
I'd say it's been a while since I've played Minecraft. Although there are a few times where I would just get on, try to play like single. I'm in my own like world, just like
Gotcha. Like, do you still like world build for what you're doing?
just pretty much doing the usual Minecraft thing, which
Okay,
is like exploring and collecting, building, and the
gotcha.
usual.
Okay.
So there, some time to time I would get on, play, but that was back. I would love to like play with more people on Minecraft again.
That would be sick, honestly.
Yeah, that will be more. It will be fun. But
Yeah.
for now, I'm
Keep.
just on my own.
Gotcha.
Uh,
Yeah. Makes sense. You're on your
it's
own.
not
It's
It's not boring.
Yeah. Plus, at least you get to do
I get
like open world basically, sort of
yeah.
like how like Legend of Zelda, I want to say Link's Awakening, Breath of the Wild basically, or like Tears of the Kingdom, where you basically just to explore all of Hyrule.
Pretty much, pretty much. What was I gonna say? Especially when the more stuff, more stuff would be added and updates and all that. Yeah, it's very interesting. You see what these are. I do. There are time to time I would wish that I was able to play with other people like either exploring the new updates and all that, doing pretty much a survival, which at some point I feel like I would do that on this channel, so forth,
There you
if I
go.
can.
Keep it in mind.
Other
Yeah.
times
Pl-
it's just going on Minecraft servers playing some good old mini games, whether if it's the older ones, some of the ones I mentioned,
Yeah.
or some newer ones, which could be interesting.
Plus, at least you could also introduce me to the Minecraft world.
Exactly.
Yeah, like what we mentioned in the first episode, we're hoping to like explore each other's interests. So like I'm trying to get him into rhythm games, and then he could teach me about like Minecraft and all the other games that he plays.
I could introduce them to a new custom world. I could just I could just explode him right at the start.
Exactly, troll me and stuff.
Pretty much.
like,
But
like
we'll
maybe
see.
like
We'll
maybe I could
see.
get you to play Twisted Metal or Tekken with me. Then again, I think you played Tekken with me before, but not
have.
Twisted Metal. I gotta see you try to play that with me from time to time. Then again, I suck at these games, but I absolutely just love playing them in
No, you
general.
can't say you suck at these games because if I start playing it, I probably suck at first.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
could
That's
get
fair.
good, but
That's fair.
overall at the
That's fair. Okay,
beginning,
okay, that's fair.
you can't say that you suck at it. You have
Sorry.
experience. You have
Yeah.
some
Okay,
experience.
okay. Okay.
Unless if you're playing a professional, then yeah, you
Yeah, okay,
suck.
that's something different. That's something different, yes. Because I'm not a professional. I'm more of a very, very casual gamer.
Yeah, I'd say at most part, I'm also a casual player. There are a few times where I guess I could in some way get competitive, smash and all that stuff. So I wouldn't say I'm the best player at it, but I do have that competitive like
Like,
trait.
I wonder how many times, like, you went up against my brother in Smash anyways.
Oh yeah, I'd definitely lose.
Yeah, because, like, for me, like, me and my brother have different interests when
Um,
it comes to games in general. So he likes fighting, and he likes
The competitive games.
yeah, he's more into the competitive side when it comes to gaming. For me, I'm very laid back, and I'm more into the casual games. So
It's
that's
like
like the highest
either
contrast.
dancing or
Yeah,
racing
exactly.
or
I'll
just
mention.
mini games.
Yeah, I'll definitely mention those in a bit. So yeah, but, also I like a couple like of the other games like my brother plays too, like Tekken 5. But I'll mention those in the honorable mentions. So
Pretty much, yes.
I think it's a good time for me to transition over to another time. So, the reason why I didn't mention these two games specifically is because these I felt like were the ones that actually impacted my life in a certain way that helped me come from a dark place and helped me relieve myself from that darkness. So, the one game that I want to talk about first is specifically Mario Kart 8. Well, in this case, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but Mario Kart 8 in general, and then
Or
8
Mario
Deluxe.
Kart, just in
Yeah,
general.
yeah. Because I grew up with the Wii, right? And I also grew up with the DS, so I also played those as well. But I think out of all the games that I have, I want to say this one is hands down my favorite, 8 Deluxe.
Interesting. Well, now,
Not because of
why so though?
why this one.
Yeah, or yes,
I
why?
don't want to say recency bias because now it has 96 tracks from past games.
And it has more.
Yeah, more characters. Like you can play all the Mario Kart Wii characters in the game now, which is amazing. But the reason why is because during the phase when this game originally came out back in 2014, one of my closest friends, you already know, she was actually a former,
Oh,
yeah, my
yeah.
former crush. Yeah, basically, she, when I was trying to like find a way to remove myself from thinking about her, one of the things that my parents did was they bought me and my brother the Wii U game console. So, and one of the first games that we got was Mario Kart 8. And then, well, for me personally, it was Mario Kart 8. And then for me and my brother in general, it was Nintendo Land. But Mario Kart 8 placed a special place in my heart because of like of course I was into racing games back in the day, specifically like the karting games in general. So it's not just like this one, but like Crash Team Racing, if you know that one.
It's like Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, that basically, yeah. So he has a kart racing game as well, and other various racing games too. Again, I'll mention that during the honorable mentions, but this one in particular just hits close to me because of like it steers my mind from thinking about her, and I could just focus on the genres that I still love despite not seeing her, basically. So this is like a fun distraction, and I really think this actually helped and coped with me. And even like to this day, I still love playing Mario Kart 8. Not just because of like, of course, it's been like almost a decade now since this game came out, but of course, the more recent 96 tracks in the game, or total 96 now, because of the booster course pass. And then the new characters that were included too. Like, have you played Super Mario Odyssey, or do you know about it in general? Or do you at least
Uh,
know who Pauline is?
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I freaked out when they introduced her into the game.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I thought when they were going to port this game to the Switch, I actually thought they were going to bring Pauline in the game as one of the newer characters, but they
I'm
haven't.
assuming it's more like she's like one of those characters that are in the game where it's like announcer or something.
No,
No,
are you talking about the regular Odyssey game, or are you talking about 8 Deluxe?
in 8 Deluxe.
She's actually a racer.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she's one of the heavy female racers, basically. So like the other one was Rosalina, but they needed more heavyweight characters in the game, so they introduced her into it, and I think she was a perfect fit. I absolutely love playing with her. But yeah, it's just something about trying to like go through all of these tracks, trying to master the lines, as they say. So trying to find the quickest route as much as possible with the best vehicle. Shout out to all the Yoshi players out there because he's also my go-to. It's just something about like the design in general. Okay, so the thing that I love about Mario Kart 8 the most were the track designs, because the thing is that it doesn't make you feel like you're like placed in like an older Mario Kart world. It actually feels like you're in the actual Mario world, looking through all the scenic backgrounds and stuff. And for those of you who played Mario Kart 8 or 8 Deluxe, you know what I mean. So the atmosphere feels like you're a part of the Mario level, and racing through it just feels amazing. Until they introduced the first wave of the booster course pack, which dumbed it down in my opinion, because it looked like the Mario Kart Tour tracks. They just put it in the game without doing any work on the textures.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And I just gotta say, I feel like almost everyone has played at least a Mario Kart game, but I do have to say, I have still yet to play Mario Kart.
Isn't that shocking?
It's, I mean, if there are some people out there that haven't played, don't worry, don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm one of you. I'm one of your people.
Yeah, again, people have different interests, right? So we
Of
don't blame you
course,
about that too.
I don't have the. I say I won't have the biggest interest in those in racing, like in a car and all that
Like car
vehicles,
racing in general.
racing games.
Hmm.
I mean, a few not races, race, a few racing games. I'd be, I won't mind, but like overall, I'm
Like,
not the biggest interest in it.
yeah, overall
So that's
competitiveness.
why, probably the reason why I never played a Mario Kart game. At some point, I don't know.
I think it's because of like, again, like different interests. Maybe like racing isn't for you, and you're like more into like team building in
I
general.
mean, there are some. Of
Yeah.
course, there will be like some games where it's like there's a timer, you're in a race against time and all that to be
Oh,
in
time
first place
trials.
and all that. But
That's
but not like those kinds of not that kind those kinds of racing games. I wouldn't say I'm interest the
gotcha. Yeah.
biggest interest in.
Because I thought when you mentioned that, I thought you were talking about like time trials when you're racing against the clock. I think, in my opinion, as much as the
There are games that are like that. Like
yeah
you have a timer. You have to do either I don't know tasks or
yeah
beating a
basically
boss or something like that. Those ones are fine. Those ones are fine because I
it
have played a lot.
it sort of depends on like the game too, because this one also has time trials for like all the races, but I don't want to like sit through all of them and like try to grind all the way just to prove that hey, I beat the staff ghost in the game. But so be it. I'm almost done with it. I'm just missing the Wave 6 tracks now, but I don't really want to do it since technically now I have all the courses, I have all the characters. Now there's really nothing else to do. So
Mm,
now I'm just going to be playing it for fun until the next Mario Kart game comes out on the next Switch or whatsoever.
okay.
But yeah, this is one that I love to play.
By the way, how much more games are you
So
gonna mention?
I'm going to mention these two as well, but as honorable mention. So I'm not going to go into full
Because
detail.
to be honest,
Yeah.
sorry you guys. To be honest, I don't remember when we started.
I don't remember when we started either.
The fact that it's already 5:30, it was like 5:34 from our checked. I don't know when we started,
I don't
so.
know when we started
But you
either.
know
I'm just
what?
enjoying our conversation.
It's fine. It's fine. There is a certain, um, what was it? A certain time
Hmm.
I would like to end,
Yeah.
but I guess this one could be our longest one. Just hopefully it's not
Yeah.
like too long, but
We'll see.
well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
It just depends on
Depending
what.
on if we continue talking about our good old games and all that. So
Exactly. Well, for me, I just have to talk about one more game, and then the other ones I'm just gonna like briefly talk about them, but not a lot.
yes.
So the other final game that I'm gonna mention in full detail, like as you see in my hand right now, it's Dance Dance Revolution. Well, this is the PlayStation 2 version. This is the extreme one. The funny thing about this though is that this is the North American release, and I don't
What year did it come out, by the way?
I don't remember this one per se, but I know the original one. If you're talking about the original arcade that released back in 1999, that's when it was.
Mm.
That's when it was first ever released by Konami back in Japan, and then because of the popularity there, it made its way over here to the West. But you remember like the old style soft pads that they used that you could just buy them off cheap for like $20.
Because the thing is, I don't remember. I have played a Dance Dance Revolution,
Mm-hmm.
like back when I was living in Gurnee.
Yep.
So like we also had those like
The soft, like
cheap
the cheese pads.
yeah, I
Yeah.
used to have those. I didn't exact Well, I didn't play a lot of it, but I did try it out, and it
Would you
was so
say
long ago that I don't know if it was that game I played or
it probably might be like a rip off of it too, or something
no,
similar
because it
to
was
it?
a Dance Dance Revolution.
Oh,
So
do you
I don't
remember
know
how
if
many
there's
arrows were on the pad? Was it 4 or 5?
there was up, down, left, right, and then you had the middle one. So
Okay, so
oh,
yeah,
maybe
yeah, that's Dance Dance Revolution then.
probably the
Yeah.
first or old one.
Yeah, basically, if you have the cardinal directions, those are that's Dance Dance Revolution. If you have 4 corners and the middle one, that's Pump It Up. That's different.
Okay, yeah, I had the corner or not the corner ones, the up, down, left, right.
Yep, that's Dance Dance Revolution. Or for those of you who play Step Mania or In the Groove ITG, yeah, it's basically that. Yeah, so again, another reason why I wanted to bring this one up too is because it also helped me during a hard time. Because back then, before the pandemic hit, and then of course like during the time when my crush left too, I'm pretty sure you know the arcade round one, right?
Yep.
Yep.
If you have
And
a round one near you,
you
I
please
say
go by, stop by. You gotta visit
take a
and have fun.
visit. If you don't like it, that's fine. But if you love it, do whatever you want there.
Yeah. There's a bunch of communities that go there too. I'm part of the rhythm gaming community in the area, so I go to my local round one just to hang out with the guys there, just to play like all the rhythm games there, specifically the dancing games. Hence why I am into DDR. So, but that's not the main reason why. It's because it helped me with my weight loss journey.
Yeah.
So before I started playing DDR, I used to weigh nearly 200 pounds, and to fix that, not only did I started dieting, I started fasting. I'm still doing it to this day, by the way. But I also wanted to find a fun way to actually exercise instead of like, like
Those like long workouts or
yeah,
specific ones for specific muscles and all that, because sometimes it works,
yeah,
sometimes it
exactly,
doesn't work. But then like unless if you do enjoy working out, that's fine. But
yeah,
if you don't find it like fun, or if you can't find it fun or anyway, just
yeah.
don't
You
don't
could do
do
something
don't do
else.
that. Do
Yeah,
something more fun.
yeah.
For example,
Dance Dance,
dancing.
yeah, Dance Dance Revolution. Heck yeah. Otherwise, if not, that is biking. But
No, we're
I
talking about
digress.
dancing.
Yeah. Dance Dance Revolution. So yeah, this one for sure helped me introduce into like learning about myself that I never knew about, because I was the guy that would play on like the most easiest of levels, but I danced with 2 pads, because
Mm.
I sort of learned that back then, and transitioned it when I started playing with round one. When some of the more competitive players noticed about that for me, they offered me suggestions and what to do, and I ended up following their advice. And because of that, now I could almost play at a competitive level. I'm almost caught up to them, but not competitive enough, I guess you could say.
Well, you can try.
Yeah, I'm above average. That's one thing's for sure. If you take like an average DDR player, or like a 4 panel player game in general, like this one, basically they're like on the most medium difficulty level. For me, I could play the harder level that they could play, and sometimes even the hardest ones, depending on the level of the charts. But to be more fair, specifically, if you're talking about like my favorite DDR, I'm not referring to like the ones that I collect back in like the good old PlayStation days and the PS2 days. The only reason why I have this one out is because one of my favorite DDR players that I looked up to, I didn't actually know lives in Illinois. And then I figured out that since he was at my local round one and he was working there, I ended up finding him and he ended up signing this for me. So shout out to OMG Khan or Mark. Thank you very much for being an inspiration for me to actually take DDR seriously. And not only that, what I find funny about this too is that in one of his videos, he mentioned that he doesn't like the North American version of this specific video game that I'm holding in my hand, Dance Dance Revolution Extreme. And he prefers the Japanese version because it has more of the variety and has everything to it. But North America is missing a bunch of things. So I brought this with me so that he could sign it, and then I made him felt a little awkward about it, but I'm so thankful he signed it anyways. So again, shout out to you, thank you. And then he also gave me a little card as well.
Oh, nice person.
Yeah, yeah, he goes
By
by
the way, I was
yeah,
paying attention.
OMG Khan. Yeah, this is more
Oh,
for you guys if you want to
interesting.
listen to. Yeah, he doesn't have to. He just basically is just there for the
Cause
ride.
I'm not experienced. I wouldn't say I'm not the best dancer or anything.
Do you think you could probably do one of the easier songs at the most easiest levels though? Like say if
I
I
don't know unless I try. So,
exactly because
which at some point I might have to try.
because the thing that I love about current dancing games nowadays, this isn't just for DDR, but if you know Stepmania or In the Groove in general, you could actually import songs from like different files and then create your own custom charts so that you could dance to them. One of my favorite ones is that well, both of us are into Hololive, so I literally downloaded a pack where it's literally just Hololive songs. Each of them have their difficulty levels with the easiest, medium, hard, and then I always aim for the harder charts as much as possible, and I absolutely love dancing to all of them. One of my favorite ones that I love going through. Do you know the Hololive Shuffle medley?
Yes, I do. The older ones, maybe not, but some of the more recent, newer ones, then yeah.
Yeah, and those are the fun ones to go through. But one of my favorites, and it's the absolute longest one that I've ever done, is the 200 song version.
Ah,
That one lasted over 2 hours, so I was grinding for over 2 hours playing different songs on a single take.
as long as you have fun.
Yeah, exactly. It's tiring, I'm not gonna lie, but it was amazing. I don't know, maybe you could just do that as a punishment.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know, I enjoy it, so maybe unless if you want to give it a try and you'll end up giving up in like the first 5 seconds.
At some point, I'll have to try.
Yeah, but yeah, it helped me throughout a tough time. And to this day, I absolutely love playing this game. I have my own setup at home. Like, for those who paid attention to like the past couple episodes, you know that I displayed my old dance pads in the background. I have updated ones that I currently use instead, the L-Tech ones that are currently upstairs. Sturdier built, they're more grounded and stabilized, and plus more cheaper than buying an arcade cabinet. So it's my next closest thing. So I'm satisfied with it. So
I
and
see.
yep, and to this day I'm still playing too. So I absolutely love the game.
All right, interesting. And now, the one game that pretty much it's made the most impact on me overall. For those that don't have an idea,
I'm not gonna
the
say anything.
game, it, the game is pretty much Pokemon, because I grew up literally half, maybe more of my life was playing Pokemon. So back from when I was 5. Or by the way, I will say I have not played all kinds of Pokemon games, but
Hmm.
I have played a good amount. So back from the age of 5, the first one of my first ever games was Pokemon Blue
Oh,
on the Game Boy.
oh, that's actually surprising. Wow.
Surprising that it's not Pokemon Red,
Yeah.
but yeah, the first game I ever got, first Pokemon game, Pokemon Blue. I still remember back. I have the Game Boy. I don't remember. I don't know if I have the. I don't know what happened to my Pokemon Blue, but I don't know what happened. But I still have my Game Boy. That
Hmm.
was the first Pokemon game I ever played, and at the time, of course, I had no idea what I was doing other than just playing, catching, and all that. And then, of course, as I'm growing up, switching from the Game Boy to DS,
Hmm.
I never played a Pokemon game on DSi, so I went to 3DS,
Oh.
and then 2DS, and then all the way to the Switch. So I pretty much played the main Pokemon games. So from Pokemon Blue to Fire Red, or well, mostly Fire Red, but I did try Leaf Green at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon Ruby, Pokemon Diamond, which was I started out, and then I went to Pokemon Platinum, which had more like a better version of the game,
Yep.
and then yeah, I'm pretty much going up the line all the way up
So literally there until there.
all the way up to the more recent. The only like out of the main Pokemon games I haven't played was the old Pokemon Gold or Silver or Crystal, Emerald, and then pretty much the opposite of the more current games. Like if I played Pokemon Black, I didn't play Pokemon White.
Yeah.
If I played Scarlet, I haven't played Violet, and I pretty much
So
choose.
on and so forth.
I
Yeah.
could do both games, and I have done it with like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the DS versions of Gold and Silver, and the such. So I've I've played so much of the Pokemon game. It wasn't until Gen 5 would be Pokemon Black and Pokemon Black, White, Black 2, Black or White 2. And that's where I started to like be more knowledgeable, like getting more into the competitive kind of aspect and all that. So, because before then, I'd say I didn't know exactly what I was doing. Like, I didn't know about type matches and all natures. You definitely don't know, but
Yeah, I didn't grow up with
that's
Pokemon, so.
it's fine. For those that don't know, it's fine. There's a lot to learn, although some of the concepts would be, I'd say it'd be not so hard to learn. But of course, like it plays an important aspect if you're into the more competitive in Pokemon, because besides from doing the journeys, adventuring and catching Pokemon and exploring, there are competitions like to the point where there's championships, regional, and all that. I really do want to compete in one of these championship, well, not like world,
Yeah,
but
like.
like start off a regional championships. I could have, but I I I wasn't able to because of a few things like
I was gonna say like
work,
time. Yeah.
yeah, time, work, and all that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So there's that, and then, but someday I will like to compete.
Same
If
with me.
I really do hope that I could get far enough to the point where I could be on like
There's a
on YouTube, like
Yeah. So.
like they do post their like like to a certain point some of the like battles and championships and what not on their channel.
Yep.
So I do that is as far as I want to get when it comes if I were ever to participate. So but aside from competitions, there's a lot of other Pokemon games that doesn't have to do with like the main series, such as there's mystery dungeons. There's a game called Pokemon Quest or Conquest. I don't I'd say it's one of the lesser popular Pokemon games, but I
Yep.
played it and I liked it.
That's fair.
So Mystery Dungeon, Conquest, Pokemon Snap. If you
That
love
classic.
taking pictures of whether if it's cute or cool Pokemon, I would like to try it too. I haven't played one yet, but I would love to try and play it. I would say I'm like that kind of person that would like to take pictures of something, whether if it's cool or amazing and so forth. I don't mind. I do want to try at some point. I haven't played all the Pokemon Mystery Dungeons, but I have played some, like I guess the first one. I think there was the one with something about time. It was green, and then the more recent one where it's like like somewhat 3D models, but like has that old aspect to it,
Oh,
which
okay.
is it's on the Nintendo Switch. That one's interesting, but I do say I haven't finished it yet, and there's a lot of other games that, such as, yeah, there's a lot of games like Pokemon.
Not just like the base game, but like
Yeah, like
crazy spin-offs.
Mystery Dungeon, Conquest, Pokemon Go. I'd say is it's pretty much the more like out in, how would I describe it? It's like more of like actually going out catching Pokemon, like how the game should.
Yeah.
One
So
of the important parts of the game.
get your lazy butts out and start walking
But
around. You need some exercise. Come catch Pokemon from your digital device.
you can. I don't. I used to, but I kind of stopped for certain reasons.
I wanted to do it, but my phone ran out of storage when I first tried it.
Yeah. And there's so much you can do in Pokemon, other than if it's the fact that I even played like Pixelmon, which is Pokemon in Minecraft. So to that point, it was like there's so much you can do in Pokemon. Catch of course, catch them,
Yep.
train them, fight in other battles against other trainers and all that. Exploring is one big thing. I think almost everyone should know the phrase "God catch 'em all,"
Yep.
even though technically you don't. You don't have to, but
But there are people that would do it.
Ash Ketchum hasn't catch all of them yet. He said that. Did he say it? I don't know, but yeah, he never called the Pokemon, so it's fine. But there's so much Pokemon games you can play, and I've played a good amount of it. And of course, I had to learn a lot about it, and to this point, I still play Pokemon to this point. Like, I think last time I played, even if it's not like the base games, like for example, Pokemon Unite. That's more of a
Oh yeah, Pokemon United. Yeah.
that's one of the more recent Pokemon games that I'm playing. In fact, I played some. No, I haven't played in this today yet, but I have to. It's Pokemon Unite is more of a competitive one where it's like you have five people on one team and five people on the other. They're trying to score goals in a way.
Yep.
There's certain specific specific or certain Pokemon that you can play as, whether if it's like an attack or a defender or support. But it can get very competitive, and I I do love playing. I do love playing it so much. The rank battles too, to get certain rewards and all that. But overall, that game is competitive, and I will say it's fun. There are a few times where it's not fun. You would get angry because of whether if your teammate made a mistake, or it's like they're not doing anything. But yeah, like a lot of things can happen during the 10-minute matches, that
Oh my gosh.
whether if it's like you just got cock blocked, or it's like you lost like near the end of the game, which happened a lot to me.
Oh my
And
good gracious.
yeah, and I but
Bad memories are coming back to you.
of course I had bad especially like a few days ago too. But overall, even though those times do happen, I still like playing the game, because to me it's fun. This is one of the game that's one of the games where I'd be really competitive. But some of the other Pokemon games, I'd be like I'll be like that one guy. One guy is like exploring around, like seeing new Pokemon, like, whoa, that's a new Pokemon and all that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of Pokemon games.
If I can nitpick for you, what in your opinion, what is the best Pokemon game?
I cannot answer that question. I
Uh,
don't think I can ever answer that question, because, not gonna lie, I kind of like all of the games that I played so far.
okay.
I like, or either like or I love playing the game.
What do you
Like,
think
I wouldn't mind playing it again too.
a fair
So
game? Because another thing too that I was wondering is what would you what do you think you spent on the most when it comes to each of the Pokemon games, or which Pokemon game you spent time the most? Yeah, I'm assuming you're gonna say all of them.
It's there's a few that I've played the most. For example, Pokemon Unite. Of course, I think I've played so much on that at this point,
Hmm.
even though I started like a year ago. Yeah, I started a year ago
Yeah.
playing the game, and yeah, I'm like, there's not like, it's almost every day I play Pokemon Unite, and like, at least do a few matches and all that. It's either that or I'll be playing it for like hours. So there's that Pokemon Unite, and some of the more recent ones, recent Pokemon games like Pokemon Sword and Shield. It came out in 2019. Fun fact: before the trailer came out for Sword and Shield,
Yep.
and this was at the time I was in high school, like I'd say junior year. It was at that point before I saw the trailer. I could have, I could have given up on Pokemon, like,
Really?
because to the point it was like nothing new was happening, and I was start there was that I was starting to lose interest a little bit, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll stop playing Pokemon. But then it all changed when I was on YouTube, like on the Chromebook on
Yep.
YouTube. I see a trailer and I'm like, wait, what is this? And then once I played it, I was like, another Pokemon game is coming out. And that's where my interest that was like at a low point, just like
Oh, good. It's
just
just
rise like, all right, back to Pokemon.
good grace.
And
Just
that was
because of that trailer alone,
it
got you
was
hooked up back
it
into
was
the.
like it was because like nothing else was happening after the more recent game that game at the time came out. So it's like
Gotcha.
it started to getting boring and other
Still.
stuff. Yeah, stale and all
Dang.
that.
Dang.
And that was also at the time where in Pokemon Shield, that's when I started to like that's where I want to like do like competitive Pokemon. So
Hmm.
that's where it started. And so now it's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet because they're still doing competitions to this point where they've already did like they already started last year and probably the year before that. Well, not the year before that, but like back in 2022, I believe.
Hmm.
Yeah, 2020. No, 2022 is when it came out, and they already had some competitions like regionals to worldwide and internationals, and then they're doing it again. And this time, I want to join at least a regional
Yeah.
championship. So most back to the main question you asked me. Pokemon Unite, I played a lot, and
Okay.
then now Pokemon Scarlet, I've been like playing a lot, like trying to train up and think of strategies for like using which Pokemon to use for the competitions.
Okay.
And to be honest, I will say that if you watch the whatever championships on the Pokemon channel, there are a lot of people that would use some of the same Pokemon because well, it's like
They.
meta and like most
Yeah.
used
I
and
was gonna say like they
works
know it most, and
and
because of like
and it's
that.
strong and all that.
Yeah. And
I
that's why
mean,
they tend to use them more
I
often.
I don't mind, but I do want to see like more variety,
Yeah. I was
more
gonna say.
diversity, more like Pokemon that you don't usually see in competitive. So for me, I'm trying to think of like I may use like one Pokemon that like you would either see during these championships or they're like used in past championships and
Hmm.
tournaments. But overall, I'm trying to use like a lot of Pokemon where some Pokemon that you don't even expect to appear. And yeah, I'm spending a lot of time trying to plan certain teams and all that, builds and
Gotcha.
other stuff. So yeah, I've spent a lot of time in Pokemon Scarlet since it is the latest Pokemon game, so one of the
Interesting.
latest Pokemon games. So
If I could also nitpick on one more thing, what is your or who is your go-to Pokemon?
you know how much Pokemon there are?
I know, but is there like one that you mainly use for like a majority of the games? Or is there like a specific type of Pokemon, I should say?
Well, of course, I would always use a starter. Some people don't use a starter, whether because they're not a fan of what the design or how it ends up af ends up at the end, or it's
Mm-hmm.
like they just don't find it useful in some way. So, of course, I use a starter. I'm a grass trainer for those,
Ah,
so I
okay.
would always choose the grass type Pokemon. I have used the other starters, whether if it's the fire types or water types.
But no,
When I first started off, I did start off using some fire types. It
Mhm.
wasn't until a little later, or like a little later after that, I would start using grass types, and that's where I decided that I'm a grass trainer. I would use
Fair game.
no matter what grass starter they introduce,
That's the one to go
I
to.
will choose it. I will use it. It will be good in some way.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, pretty much a grass starter. My favorite typing is grass types overall. So even though some of them might not be the greatest, but they're good in their own way. They're good in their own way.
Fair game.
A
That's actually pretty
favorite
interesting.
Pokemon? There's too
May-
much.
Maybe from grass types, just from grass types alone. Which one's your favorite to use?
Oh, my favorite starter would be from Gen 3. It's Sceptile. That's my
Hmm.
favorite starter. But of
Okay.
course, I do love all the grass starters,
Yes.
all the way from Gen 1 up to now, Gen 9, which
Dang.
the fact that whether they're most likely going to make more gens, but I'm alright with it because that's
Hmm.
more Pokemon introduced, creative in some ways, whether if they're good for competitive or you like their design or
Yeah.
they're just good during playthroughs. So that's the thing. That's pretty much the reason why I love Pokemon. It's the diversity.
Yeah.
Some ways you can use, some of them the way they look, their appearance looks amazing, whether if it's cool or adorable or other reasons. And
Hmm.
yeah, it's just creative in that way. And yeah, there's never be a point other than that one other point where I would not play a Pokemon game. So
Interesting indeed.
I'll probably be playing it until the day I die. So,
You're gonna pass it down to your future generation of children.
exactly. They're gonna learn Pokemon whether if they like it or not. I'm hoping they do like it though, that way.
It's like me and Lily everything
They're
on my
gonna learn
shelves.
everything, all the way from back in Gen 1. These Pokemon were. So,
Oh my
pretty
good
much.
gracious.
So, yeah, the Pokemon games overall is a big part of my life. It made the most impact growing up from it and all that. I find it so much fun, whether if it's the main games where you're exploring all that, or some other like other genres of the Pokemon franchise. Yeah,
Hmm.
like Unite and all that. So yeah,
Good
that's
stuff. Holy moly.
and at some point I will have to teach this guy about Pokemon. He may learn some of it. He may not be
Uh,
able to pick up some of it, but
yeah.
he will learn
Eventually,
something
eventually down the line.
because he
Well,
only knows the like
basics.
but I'd say Gen 1 to some of Gen 4,
Yeah, not a
but
lot though. I forgot. Where'd
but
I
not
put
as much.
Pikachu?
Pikachu,
I think he's hidden on the top.
probably is.
Yeah,
And
Pikachu's
then
up
if
there,
you
and then
don't
I'm a
know,
little.
there's a Piplup down there,
Yeah,
Gen 4.
I'm into bird type Pokemon, so that's why I'm
Yeah,
Piplup.
he might be a flying type
Yeah,
kind of guy, but
there's my
even though
answer to that.
he's not a flying type,
Yeah, I gotta
but
learn
he's a
more.
bird, so I will have to teach this noob some point.
It's okay because I'm gonna teach you how to play Mario Kart as well or GDR. So
Yes,
fair
pretty
trade.
much.
So I think maybe because we went a little too long, maybe we could go ahead and
Oh,
try to like speed run through like honorable mentions. So I've got well, technically I want to present three, but I could do them quickly anyways.
5,
It's crazy. Okay, so first off, like of course I mentioned rhythm games. One of my favorite is the Project Diva series. Introduced me to all the different Vocaloid songs and just like Vocaloid in general. Because I didn't really know much about Hatsune Miku until I learned about the arcade game that they released in round one there. And then I didn't know back when GameStop was still inside that mall that I used to go to for round one. They actually had this in stock. And what was funny too is that my mom bought me an anime that I wanted. I'm pretty sure you know Heaven's Lost Property.
Ah,
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
an
it was
interesting.
the movie that came after the first season or second season. Yeah.
Oh,
I originally was supposed to get that, but then I saw this one on the shelf, and I was like, "Actually, Mom, can you return this? I'm gonna get this instead." Then it sort of grew
interesting.
from that, and because of this, this was my introduction to more Vocaloid songs in general. Like I knew Miku and Rin over there, and then of course Len up there. But this was the game that introduced me to Kaito, Luca, and Mako up there on the shelves. And one of these days, I'm gonna let you experience this game as
I'll
well.
have to learn.
Yeah, there's that. That was basically my introduction to Vocaloid. Another game that I loved to play, especially back in the day, was the game Ridge Racer. Not this
Another
version.
racing game.
Yeah, not this version of the game, but
Um,
the original PlayStation one. Those were just really fun to like go around. Plus, I really love the music, the different car designs. But I think my favorite version to play is the PlayStation Portable one, where you get to play like a more current version of that game with the set of different PlayStation tracks all in one PSP, and I think it's really cool. Plus, some of the car designs, especially what they call the special machines, they look incredible. I gotta show. I'm gonna show you one of the designs later on. There's one more that I want to bring up that I didn't get a chance to show. It's right here, anyways. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
I think I have played that game, so
Yeah,
maybe well, definitely the first one,
yeah,
and the second one, I believe.
yeah,
It could be that one,
yeah.
but
To be
yeah.
yeah, to be fair, it's more of like the Budokai series in
Oh
general.
yeah, I have.
Yeah, because I really love Budokai 3, but I also love Budokai Tenkaichi 3. The reason why is because of my brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was also because of my brother. I play the games.
Yeah, he got me into the series, so and I'm anticipating for Budokai Tenkaichi 4. So, yeah, the main reason why I love playing these games is because I love going head to head with my brother and seeing like who's the best when it comes to like picking certain characters in the game.
I can relate to that. I can relate to that. All right, my
Yeah.
honorable mentions. One of the games I have mentioned in a previous episode, Injustice,
Heck
a
yeah.
fighting game that based with DC characters. Pretty much, yeah, a fighting game. Like it's like Tekken. Although Tekken is more, it became more like 3D. It's like you can move around.
Yeah.
But with Injustice, um,
It's more like on Mortal Kombat's engine, right?
pretty much it's more like that. Still, the characters that I love playing with, and specifically Injustice One, is Aquaman or Deathstroke because that was the best characters I could play with, and all that. So I was better than my brothers at it. So another game another honorable mention I'd say would be the Just Dance games,
Heck
a
yeah.
dance game. Specifically, the ones that I have played was from Just Dance 1 up to Just Dance 4 and the 2014 one. So the more recent ones, and I know there's a Just Dance. They're making another Just Dance 2023, which
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting tired
there
of
are
Just
a few
Dance.
songs I do know from there,
Yeah,
but I don't know. So
I'm
with
getting
the
tired.
Just Dance games, yeah, at the time, when I was younger, I would play the games and I would actually do whatever dance pose there are.
Those are fun, dude.
This
That's why I prefer the older games.
I know there are some good songs for the other ones. I just haven't tried them yet.
That's true.
And specifically, I say my favorite one would be on either the Just Dance one, the first one, or Just Dance 4 because I would have the highest score for one of my past favorite songs, The Moves Like Jagger, and Just
Oh,
Dance. Yeah, it
okay.
was one of my favorites back when I was younger. So I would have the high score on that. I would make sure I would have the high score on that one.
That's fair. I do the same thing with You Can't Touch This on the original Just Dance.
Yeah. So those were at, back then. I would have a lot of fun with it playing on the Wii. So
Hands
and
down, I love
then
that too.
yeah.
Yeah. Out of the Just Dance games you mentioned, which one's your favorite?
It's either 1 or 4. Just
Gotcha.
1 or
Yep.
4.
Me personally, I love the
But
original.
overall, they do have good songs.
Yeah.
Some good songs, whether if you enjoy doing the dancing or listening to it. So,
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, like I said before, I prefer the original because of the good song choices that they have, and it's just like a
so much nostalgia.
yeah. I wouldn't say it's nostalgia too. I'd also say it's like it introduced a new style when it comes to dancing games.
Yeah,
I think it's like what it had a competition with Dance Central at one point.
I don't know.
No, you don't know Dance Central?
Nope.
So it's like Xbox's version of Just Dance, basically. But I don't know. I sort of prefer both of them one way or another. But Just Dance, oh my gosh, it has a special place in my heart, especially the original. The one thing that deterred me from the Just Dance games in general, though, I got the 2016 version back in the day because I knew Hatsune Miku was going to be in the game. But when I ended up playing it, the thing that distracted me was that you could have access to all the songs from the previous games, but it's like locked behind like a paywall because you actually have to pay money for a subscription to get all the songs.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Be-
not doing that.
no, I hate it
I'm not
because
gonna
like
do that.
I hated it so much because like the menu design was like, okay, here are the new songs that you get to pick, and then it's sort of like Netflix because when you go down the next level or whatsoever, it's all the older songs that you could play from past Just Dance games.
I see, I see.
I hated that so much because
hate
it
when
was like
that
out there and
happens.
it's like go ahead spend more money so you could play these songs. I was like, you know what? I'll just play the Miku songs and then I'll just return the game. I was not satisfied with it. That's why I don't like playing Dance Central anymore or
I
Dance Central,
see.
Just Dance.
I just, yeah, I don't like it where it's like you have to pay for certain things. Well, even though I feel like they should be available without having to pay,
Exactly.
of course, there are a few times where I can't help it. I have to get it. But overall, most of the time, no, I'm not going to pay for it.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
either find some other way or just don't. So,
This is why I prefer the original Just Dance games because again, it's already set. There's no point of getting more DLC for those games. So, and plus you have it with you and it's in a physical copy. All you need is just a Wii and a Wii remote and you're good to go.
exactly, exactly. All right, those are some of the games that we've played, enjoyed,
Yeah.
have a personal connection or experience with some way with these games from growing up from a certain age to more recent. So
Yeah.
here's his. Mine's somewhere else. So
Verbally mentioned.
pretty much, pretty much.
Until we get an editor who would actually know how to like display everything for us. So
Yes, exactly. So that's pretty much it. Those if you play these games or if you haven't, you can if you want to. Whether if it's either you have to buy them if you have these consoles or some of the games that I've mentioned, you can download them. Like whether if it's from Google Play, if you have Android. Is Google Play on iPhone?
no, it's the App Store.
Well, I don't know if there's games
Yeah.
on there, but if you have
Maybe.
Android, well, you don't have to. You could play it on like an iPad or go on a website. You could play these games.
Yeah.
You could, I guess, maybe play these games on the website or if there is, but yeah. If you haven't played these and if you want to, you can.
Yeah.
We suggest you could try them out.
Yeah,
If you
just
don't like
simply try
them,
it. Yeah.
if you don't like them, that's fine.
It's
If
up
you
to-
love it,
Yeah.
thank us.
Again, it's up to you guys of what you like to do. It's your choice of like what type of genre you enjoy because not everyone's going to love rhythm games, not everyone's going to love fighting games, not everyone's going to love strategy-based games. Everyone
much.
has an interest. So and that's what we respect that's why we respect each other. So
And that's
we each have these-
also for us to explore,
Exactly.
open up, explore some new games, whether if you have played them or you never try them out.
It's a fun experience.
It'll be a fun experience.
Yeah, even if you're just a total beginner at it, trust me in this too.
That's sometimes where the fun happens. okay?
Exactly, because you're learning the environment, and then when you pick up, you'll eventually pick up more and more. And if you know that it's not for you, you could always try something different.
Exactly. That's why there's a variety of these games, whether if it's on a console or it's a mobile app or so forth.
Yeah, and again, you don't have to be professional at it. Even if you just like playing casually, like me and Caspin, then there's no.
We're
there's
not
no-
professionals
Yeah,
in these games,
exactly.
but
We
we
play
love
for fun.
playing them. Exactly. Yes. So those
Yeah.
are the games we've mentioned. If you want to play it, check them out.
Go for it.
Also, if you want, you can comment to us what games you find interest, because it's a if you mention it, we could try them out.
Yeah.
If we have played them before, that's fine. If one of us haven't, it's a new fun experience.
Exactly, that's the point.
So,
And with this episode too, we're hoping to expand more, not just, talking about discussing things, but again, getting into like rankings, getting into reactions, getting into gameplays. And then hopefully anytime soon, we're going to introduce board games as well.
Board games are some board games, well, certain board games are still fun, okay?
Yeah, board
to
games
this
and card
point
games.
where there's technology, no, there's board games that are still fun to play with.
Yeah, and I got a unique way on how we're going to be playing certain games too.
So expect for that later on.
We're going to have that as a separate video though, so if you keep an eye on it, we'll make sure that we'll get that released anytime soon, hopefully.
So yeah, please comment in the comment section below what games that you've enjoyed or played or made a big impact in your life.
Yeah.
We could try them out, or we could try them out.
Or not.
You can also try out some of the games that we've mentioned or shown, and
Exactly. And maybe there's a genre that we didn't even mention, like horror. We didn't mention any horror games, so maybe
we'll save those for later.
Exactly.
Save those for later.
Yeah. Or like puzzle games. We haven't brought any of those up. Like you mentioned strategy, but like
There are so many kinds of genre, or so many genres of video games that whether if we like them, enjoy them, and so forth. If we haven't, we can explore that. So, yeah.
keep an eye on that. So again, just suggest them for us. Don't forget to share it with friends and family members as well. For those who've already subscribed from when I sent it out to my personal Facebook and Instagram posts, thank you. And especially for those of you who subscribed to our channel, thank you also as well. And again, keep sharing, keep liking, keep spreading the word about us. We're hoping to build up together and basically grow a community together. And then again, open up for discussion, right? Just as long as we're all treating each other equally, having fun, respecting each other's opinions. So again, you could catch us on YouTube. I already shared my Facebook and Instagram stuff. I don't know if you still...
I will share my Instagram.
What is your Instagram then?
Oh, I'll have to check that again. I'll have to check
Future
that
episodes. So yeah, again, thank you for joining us and thank you for listening to us. I think, again, this is probably our longest video to date, but...
It's alright.
Yeah.
I don't know when we started.
No, I have no idea when we started. I lost track of time.
I know.
It's already 6:25 according to my clock over there, so... And
You told me you had a clock this whole time?
Yeah, right there! I thought you were looking at that!
Oh, I was looking... Anyways, yeah, I hope you enjoyed our conversations.
No,
again.
Join us for the next episode. We don't know what we're going to be talking about, but we'll see. So
we are ICduhweebs, and we'll
catch you guys next time.
Exactly.
Peace. Now, if you excuse me, I'm probably going to be playing Suica game now.
Oh, my back.
No, there we go.